Hello, everybody. You're listening to Alfred's American News Updates. Alfred's American News Updates is brought to you by Alfred and Friends. Alfred and Friends is a global conglomerate that owns and invests in a large variety of companies all around the world. To find out how you can invest in Alfred and Friends, go to alfredandfriends.com. The update I would like to give you right now is on the CNN anchor Brian Stelter. Recently, he tweeted that it is not CNN's job to investigate the news. He was referring to the fact that CNN has spent 2 years now lying to the American people and to the whole world about the whole Russian collusion nonsense. To quote the tweets, which is basically from the CEO or president of CNN. It says, "We are not investigators, we are journalists, and our role is to report the facts as we know them," which is exactly what we did. You see, this sends a new precedent in America because it says that the media has the right to get away with lying to the people. You see, how can you be a news network and their tagline used to be CNN news you could trust, news CNN news you can trust, you see, and that they are now telling you that it is not their job to investigate the news. That means that they have the right to tell you anything they want. What kind of talk is that they are not supposed to investigate the news? So that means that they just say what they want to say. They just pick what they want to say and say it. They do not check if it is true or false. You see, this is a network that has been pushing for Trump collusion and saying that Trump colluded with Russia and all of that. You see, this is the kind of talk that could cause wars. This is a network that has actually gotten involved with strong opinions between the negotiations between President Trump and the leader of North Korea. You see, CNN has strong opinions on everything, and it doesn't just it's not a matter of it's informing you of what is happening. It tells you what you should do. It tells you what you should think. It tells you what is right and what is wrong. That is what CNN is doing. And one of the things it says is that President Trump is racist, President Trump is bad, President Trump is evil. You see, that is what they are saying. They are not even giving you information. It's not like President Trump did this and they are showing you this. You see, it is just about attacking, and they are making a stand. It is like listening to a never-ending Adolf Hitler speech. That is what CNN actually is nowadays. You see, and it has been that for years. I think that the President Trump presidency has actually revealed a situation where secret things have been brought out to the light. So what I'm saying is that CNN probably didn't get this way all of a sudden. CNN was always this way, but it didn't need to come out right against a president. You see, but they have always been about their own agenda and their own propaganda and what image they want to put out there. You see, they have always been about what they want people to believe and not telling people what happened. You see, there is no way that the president of CNN can have this kind of mentality, and Brian Stelter, who also works for CNN, is clearly in support of it. You see, he's telling you that CNN are not investigators, they are journalists. Their role is to report the facts as we know them. Look at that phrasing. Our role is to report the facts as we know them. That gives way for any lie, because now it is all a matter of what they believe is true. You see, the facts as we know them. Our job is to report the facts as we know them. So That means that it may not be the real, it may not be the facts, but it's the facts as we know them. That means I have the freedom to lie. That means they have the freedom to lie. That is the language that they are using. That is what this means. You see, people who still watch CNN and the likes, MSNBC and the rest, are ridiculous, because when you have an organization like that is supposed to be a news organization and is telling you that they are journalists and not investigators, it's not their job to look into whether what they are telling you is true. You see, but for 2 years they were telling you that President Trump colluded with Russia. They were not saying that there is a chance, there's a possibility. We were saying definitely that yes, he colluded with Russia, that he should be impeached, impeach Trump. There is still a website about impeaching Trump, you see, that is still available and still out there. You see, this is something that is very sad, you know. So if you are listening to this, I will advise you to realize that the truth of the matter is that this did not start now. Certain media organizations, example CNN, they are all about pushing forward their narrative. They are not about informing you, they are about controlling you. They want to influence public opinion. Not just influence it, they want to control public opinion and control what the people do. It's all about control and power, you see. So I will advise you to stop being a fool, you see. Be somebody that believes in facts. When you want to know what happened, hear it from the horse's mouth. Do not be in the habit of receiving third-hand information. Receive first-hand information. You see, look at the source. Even what I'm telling you now, do not just believe it because of what is being said. Look into it yourself, you know. And when you are doing research, don't just go and find yourself in a pool of similar third-hand informations correspondence that all agree with each other. You see, don't do that. If you want to know what President Trump said, listen to the tape, watch the video, go to his Twitter. You cannot hate President Trump and be against President Trump when you do not even subscribe to President Trump on Twitter. Yet you subscribe to the person who is talking about President Trump, and then you believe that person's opinion of what President Trump is saying. You know, there's something that is wrong with you. You see, you can't be that person that does not subscribe to the president on social media or a platform where you have the ability to see or listen to what that person is saying, even though President Trump is shadow banned to a certain degree on Twitter and on Instagram and Facebook and all of that. But you cannot be that person who doesn't listen to what somebody is saying, yet you are listening to what other people are saying about that person, yet you refuse to listen to what that person is saying themselves. You see what I'm saying? You cannot say that President Trump is a racist and he's evil and all of that, and you are listening to somebody else, but you are not subscribed to President Trump. You never listen to what President Trump himself said. That's crazy. If people judge you based on what other people say about you and not what you say yourself, what will you think of them? You see, when they have an opportunity to hear you speak, when they have an opportunity to hear what you are saying, you see, we live in a day where you can hear things firsthand. You can hear things from the horse's mouth. You can hear the video recordings, the audio recordings, their Twitter profile posts, their social media posts, their blog posts. Go straight to the horse's mouth. If you want to find out what is happening, go for first-hand information. All this going for third-hand information and second-hand information gets people in trouble, because then it is then filtered by opinion. Everything I'm saying, you see, even though it is under the umbrella of Alfred's American News Updates, it is basically filtered with opinions. It is basically infiltrated with opinions. And that is how all news is, because you see, there's no such thing as an unbiased news reporter. There's no such thing as an unbiased news reporter, because first of all, for a news reporter to choose a certain topic to talk about, that is a bias. You see, that a news reporter is even covering a topic is a bias in the first place. We are not even talking about whether the person covers it favorably or unfavorably, or the person is lying to help it or lying to make it look bad. It doesn't matter. The mere choosing of that particular topic is a bias in itself. Why did that news reporter choose that bias? Why did that news reporter choose that topic to talk about? That in itself is a bias. You see, that is that news reporter's personal choice and personal will to see that story being told. Why? That is a bias. You see, so there's no such thing as an unbiased news reporter. Don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. There is no way that you can talk about something without your own opinion or without your own feelings about that thing entering what you are saying. You see, your feelings, your emotions about it would be in it. You see, so keep that in mind. Listen to first-hand information. Stop going for third-hand and second-hand information. In any case, I like to always bring forward a solution and not just talk about problems. So, solution number one is for you yourself to go for first-hand information. Solution number two is for you yourself to have your own platform where you share your own opinions and your own view on the world. And the solution number three will be for alternative news outlets to, or I won't even call them news outlets, because technically there's no such thing as a real news outlet. You see, it's all opinion outlets. So I would say for alternative or opinion outlets to become huge and big, you see, they have to really be financially empowered and know what they are doing to actually prosper, because America cannot have only CNN, NBC, and all of that. And all these companies are owned by the same people. All these companies are owned by the same parent company. And you have the same board of directors. So what their opinion is what they push down the pipeline. And they force the whole nation to believe. Remember, to control the future generation, you have to control the schools. But to control the current generation, you have to control the media. So that is it for this update. Thank you and God bless.